The Big Engine Brawl mod just dropped in FNF, and this is one of the few mods in a while that isn't horror based or just super dark. It's actually really nostalgic of the classic Time in the Tank engine show. And before I reveal all the Easter eggs and references in the mods, let's discuss why boyfriend and girlfriend are there to begin with. Now, funny enough, there's actually no magic or evil plot that got boyfriend and girlfriend into this situation, which if we're being honest, is kind of a surprise. The two of them simply heard about the Northwestern Railway, which is the main rail network on the island of Sodor, and being curious, the pair put on some fake railway worker uniforms and snuck into the area simply to cause trouble, which definitely fits their characters. Now, as we're playing through the mod, we see that some of their mischief does have some serious impact, but we'll discuss that more as we talk through each song and the Easter eggs that come with them. Now, the first thing you probably notice is the art style in the cutscenes if you are a fan of the Thomas books or just various other forms of artwork, because the cutscenes are created in the same style as the original illustrator, which is named Owen Bell.
Who are you? And what on earth is that horrid contraption you're holding?
The girl holding the thing laughed.
This isn't just some horrid contraption. It's a gramophone. It plays music to sing along to. Just try it.
Thomas looked at the gramophone, and then his soon-to-be opponent.
Right then, let's give it a try.
Now, when Thomas approaches boyfriend and girlfriend, he is confused as why they're there, but he isn't hostile to them. He seems to just be more curious about what girlfriend's actually holding in her hand, which is actually a gramophone. And for those of you that don't know, a gramophone is just a old-fashioned term for a record player. And when you think about it, the item fits the old-timey vibe better than a boombox would. Now, Thomas' song is called Puffball, which is actually a nickname that was given to him by Diesel 10 and Splatter, the full nickname being Blue Puffball. Now, a fun Easter egg that people probably missed is that in the background of this song, there's actually a poster of the Thomas and the Magic Railway movie. And some of you may remember this movie. It came out back in 2000. Put in the comments if you actually watched it. And now that we've looked at Thomas, let's move over to the Fat Controller, who is referencing another Easter egg. When he is explaining the menu for the players, this is based on the Thomas DVD made by Anchor Bay. The example on the screen right now is actually from 2003, but I think there are other versions of this format. Next up, we see James in the song titled Splendid, and this song is a reference to an episode called Thomas and the Breakdown Train, where James' brakes actually catch fire and he crashes into a cow field.
Later that morning, James the Red Engine sat idly with his train.
Where am I, driver and fireman? I just want this dirty job with these dirty trucks to be over already.
Just then, the boy and girl who had sung with Henry walked up to James.
Hiya. Dad.
Are you two supposed to be my crew? I bet I've never seen you before. And you're so small.
Don't worry. You can trust us. We'll make sure that your next round is both splendid and exciting. This guy right here's been aching to go for a song with you for some time now. What do you think about one while we're on our way?
James paused for a moment. He looked at the two of them, the microphone and gramophone. He was skeptical at first, but thought it'd be best to play along.
All right then, let's get a move on, shall we?
Now, the reason that James' brakes actually caught on fire in the original story is because the brake blocks were actually made of wood. In the Friday Night Funkin' mod, though, it's implied that the reason he crashes is due to boyfriend and girlfriend taking control of him and intentionally causing him to crash, and even laughing about it in the end. The next character in the mod is Henry, and his song is called The Flying Kipper, and this song is based on an episode of the same name where Henry crashes due to the tracks being icy.
Every morning, at the crack of dawn, a large train filled with fish from the harbour is pulled by Henry the Green Engine. This responsibility is Henry's alone, and he loves it very much. But one morning, while he was waiting for his train to be loaded, he spotted two unfamiliar figures standing next to him that he did not recognize. One of them, a boy with blue hair holding a microphone in his hand. The other was a girl holding a gramophone.
Hello? What are you two doing so early in the morning around here of all places?
It looks like you've got some time before your train leaves. How about a song to pass the time?
She pointed to the microphone that the boy standing next to her was holding. Henry didn't seem to understand.
Singing? Don't be silly. Engines don't sing. What would the Fat Controller say?
Don't worry, this stays between us.
At last, Henry sighed.
All right. But only one song. The Kipper is due to leave any minute now.
Don't worry, time flies when you're having fun. Yeah!
Now it's implied that the reason that Henry crashes this time is because boyfriend and girlfriend made him late and not because of the weather. The next song is called Indignation, and it starts with a train named Gordon getting into it with boyfriend and girlfriend because he knows that they are the reason that the other trains got into crashes. He basically refuses to work until they're gone.
And upon his return, there was one engine in particular who was not fond of the idea of meeting a similar fate. Soon, the dynamic duo approached him as well.
Oh, no, you don't. I've heard all about you. First you delay the flying kipper and Henry goes flying off the rails trying to make up for lost time. Then you hijack James's cab and he gets put out of commission too.
The two glared at the large steam locomotive looking down at them. The engine glared back.
Do you have any idea how much work I had to do when they were gone? I shall stay right where I am until the two of you are gone from this island.
There was a long silence.
Look, I'll tell you what. If you can beat him, in a musical battle, the two of us will leave here. For good.
Is that right?
Gordon the big engine let off steam and approached them out of his shed.
You have a deal.
Now, as the rap battle takes place, Henry and James also join, which shouldn't be a surprise if you're familiar with this franchise at all, but there is a reference here. The reference is from an episode called Trouble in the Shed, in which the three big engines went on strike because they felt like they were too good to shunt, I believe is what you call it, which is basically moving trailers short distances. But of course, in the mod, the reason that they are striking is because boyfriend and girlfriend are raising hell. But just like in the original show, we see that at the end, the Fat Controller comes and kind of shames them and makes them feel pretty bad for not working. Even though technically in this mod, it's not really their fault.
My engines don't hold strikes. Surely you've gathered that by now.
Sir, I can explain. You see, there have been these two midgets and these charlatans, sir. They've been... Just look, they're right here.
Where, Gordon?
Oh, the indignity.
Please don't waste your breath, Gordon.
Surely you don't think that those two would stick around?
I understand that James and Henry's absences left you with a larger workload, Gordon. But on my railway, we work through adversity. We don't run away from it.
Before Gordon could utter another word, the Fat Controller hopped back into Thomas's cab as he puffed away, snickering cheekily.
Now, there are a few Easter eggs with Gordon specifically. The first one being is that when he starts missing notes, three things happen all at once. His dome flies off, which is a reference to the episode called Domeless Engines. The second thing is that his front bumper falls off, which is a reference to the episode called Bust My Buffer, where his bumper basically falls off because he's slammed into. And the last thing, which is pretty subtle, is that you can also hear his broken whistle sound, and this is actually from an episode called Whistle and Sneezes. And this last one is very obvious, I'm sure most of you probably caught it, but I'm happy that the mod added the iconic line of this trio where they basically say,
It's just disgraceful.
Disgusting!
Despicable!
And we cannot allow it. You wanted a brawl, little whatever you are? We'll show you what big engines can really do.
Next, we have the free play songs, and we're going to start with Henry's song, which is titled Sad Story, which is based off the episode with the same name. The reason that Henry is behind the brick wall and trapped in a tunnel is because he was afraid of the rain. He basically thought that the rain would ruin his paint job, so he wanted to stay in the tunnel. A bunch of people got together and tried to pull him out, but of course that failed, so the Fat Controller trapped him in the tunnel to teach him a lesson. And as the episode progressed, Henry became more and more sad by his choice, which is likely why he looked so sad in the FNF mod. Good news though is that in the following episode in the actual series, they end up letting him out because he comes to his senses and understands that he was wrong. As the mod continues, we also see that there's a monochrome remix, and this is a reference to the 1953 version of the Thomas show that was created by BBC, who actually adapted the Sad Henry story. The next song in the free play is the remix, which has two references. The first one being Tank Man, obviously with the name of the song in the color scheme of James, but it also is a nod to the color James was in the book before his crash, and also in the movie titled The Adventures Begin. There are also a couple of secret songs in this mod. The first one with the Fat Controller called Confusion and Delay, and this song can actually be unlocked in the award menu. A fun fact that the director of the mod let me know is that the whistles and signal notes actually represent the workmen who operate the railway, trying to assist the Fat Controller in his song. And the Fat Controller yelling silence is not just something random, but actually it refers to the episode called Duck Takes Charge. The second secret song you can receive if you actually complete all the achievements, and it's called Oh Reliable, where you battle against Edward, who we learn is also the narrator of the mod. mod. And this is because Edward is the first character to be introduced in the first Railway series book titled The Three Railway Engines. And the last secret song is a crossover with the Timeless Railway Showdown titled Loathed. This song is a recreation of the final confrontation between Gordon and the fan character Alfred, who is from the Sodor's Dark Time series. In this series, Alfred is an engine who rampages from railway to railway with bombing attacks to allow his class of engines to take over. And just a fun fact, the cutscene before the song begins was made using the Trains Railroad Simulator 2009. And with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this video on the screen here. I want to give a shout out to the director of the mod, Ron Brazy, for giving me a bunch of information about the mod. Make sure to subscribe to it, become a member of the Orseofkorse, and we'll see you next time on another video. Peace, peace.